Welcome to Fed Up, the number one podcast where you can get up on all things Federal League. I am your host, Josh Stoll. With us, as always, our executive producer, Mr. Chris Miner.
Rested. I didn't have to worry about playing 5 games over the last weekend, because we got bounced early. So I'm rested, refreshed, and ready to talk about the winners, the guys who actually played last weekend.
It's one of my favorite episodes. I absolutely love doing this episode, not only because we get to hear about just kind of how the sausage was made on these runs, right? But sometimes we get new teams in the mix, like we have this year, the Lonsdale Jokers. We've never had them on before. Got a couple of guests who I'm super excited to introduce the league to, because they are a great group of guys that I think really get what the Federal League is all about. Love of the game, playing with your friends, introducing your kids to it. These are guys that just totally get the core of what our league is about. And so I love having the ability to have them on and introduce them to the league and just make that community a little bit smaller. And then we get some return faces, of course. We got the back-to-back Angels representing Class A, the back-to-back-to-back Class AA champions, the Apple Valley A's. But that's a treat for me to have a teammate of mine on and introduce him to the league as well. And then we have the brand new champions of the big boy bracket, the Rosemount Pipers. First time Federal League champion, AAA. They get it done. We were a year off on our prediction with them. And honestly, I'm feeling a little bit of guilt here just by how hard I was rooting against Minoka to win a fourth one. There's such a great group of guys. And now that it's actually happened, that they are actually dethroned, and that we are sending some of the Minoka Grace 2026 t-shirts, over to, the third world countries, for them to don.
Sure.
But now that it's actually happened, I'm feeling a little guilty about it, because there's just such a great group of guys. But super excited for a new champion there. And I did hear a couple of times, very spot on, very adept. Guys like Casey Johnson with the Mammoth, said, I think we need a little bit more parity in the AA now, right? So
Sure.
hopefully there'll be the same target on our backs. Might not catch the same flack, from Fed Up, but I hope it comes from a lot of other sources.
Well, I don't know, get a third contributor here. No, I'm just kidding. Along that Minoka point, I even remember Rosemount tweeted out a championship day tweet or something like that, and I just happened to say something like, went along with East Side Pride, like, hey, pulling for Rosemount today. And that wasn't a thing against Minoka. I think if you're Minoka, you kind of get it by now. It's 3 years in a row. Just people like to see something different. That's all. It's nothing personal, anything else. So, and also, it's a good group of guys that have worked their asses off and dealt with different things and managed to put together wins upon wins and keep the ship moving. So, it's worth celebrating. It does suck, because it is weird. It's like seeing, if you're got a super tough dad or something, seeing him kind of stub his knee on the trailer hitch or something. Now he's like, oh my, and you see him compromise for the first time. Like,
yeah,
does he lose his mind? Does he throw his tools all over the place and say F it? Or does he say, okay, let's regroup? But that remains to be seen. But to wrap up your point, it was looking like it was about, we could just run this and heat up the leftovers from last year and kind of get 90% of the way there. But Lonsdale had a little something for us, and then Rosemount obviously had the big surprise for everybody.
Well, and credit to the Grays. I mean, they win with grace, they lose with grace. Honestly,
Absolutely. Can't be
that team
overstated.
was very genuinely happy for Rosemount. They tipped their caps. They knew that the best team won this tournament. I talked to Joey Olson about that and just how our format goes. And he's just, he's felt they've had the best team several times in the tournament, and it's bore out that way. But this year he admitted, that Rosemount was the better team, and at the end of the day, Joey's such a class act, and he was the first person to give props and credit to where credit was due. So
Mm.
unbelievable run for the Grays. The three-peat is where it ends, but I mean, they have to be one of the favorites again for 2027.
Well, look, I mean, they have likely the most talented roster in the whole league, and I don't know if it's even close. Like if you go T to B, um, so I don't necessarily think it's panic time, right? But at the end of the day, you're only as good. You got 9 or 10, or maybe you're stretch it out to 13, depending on how the game goes. You got this many guys that you're relying on for a win, and so a lot of teams are starting to get that many guys, and you'll see the backfill coming up on B and even A and then the double A. We're getting, and most teams are 1 or 2 guys away from making some real noise. And so for a team like Minoka, at least they have today they have the depth and stuff to be able to handle that kind of thing now. And they just happened to got 1 year. I don't think it's the end of the world for those guys at all. So it is what it is. I'm happy to see a new champ just because it always makes things more interesting. Minoka, obviously, it'll be interesting to see how they adjust or retool if necessary, or if they don't, or just how they come in next year. They could work all winter and all that stuff. So, um, I mean, I think for the league, it's great. I mean, for Minoka, it does suck, but I mean, 3 years in a row. I mean, and then unprecedented as far as going to state and doing what they do there too. So, hats off, and I'm sure we'll see more of that from them in the future. But today's about the Pipers and the rest of the guys that won to end their years.
Absolutely. It'll be a great offseason. A lot always happens in the Federal League, and Lars will fire up that hot stove in a few months. But you're right. Today is about celebrating our champions. We have an amazing guest lined up for you. From the B bracket, we have the Lonsdale Jokers represented by Bert Westerman and Mike Madison. The iconic mustache that is Bert. Had a great time with those guys. Really lively and fun interview. Certainly great to introduce them to the community via our platform. And then from the single A, we have the Archangel, I'm calling him. Mark Worms, the lead angel there. He was a fantastic interview as well. Excited to introduce him to, and so many of you know him. Mark's been around for a long time, but just a great guy and another great team, and can't be more happy for them. Reggie Stevens is going to join us from the Apple Valley A's. He's our shortstop and an absolutely core piece to what has been a back-to-back-to-back run for us in the Double A's. So excited to have him on. And then from our AAA champions, we've got the manager Ken Fry, who is a great guy, very outspoken, well spoken. And he did a great job as well too. So super excited to just bring each of those guests to you. We're going to unpack their seasons. We're going to walk through the bracket a little bit and just hear a little bit, about how those runs came together. And of course, we'll raise our drinks and give them a toast, a well-earned toast to our champions. So let's enough of you and me here. Let's go ahead and bring on our B guests and start the celebration. It is now time to celebrate our B champions. We have a couple of jokers on. Sorry for the unoriginal tagline here, but super excited to have you guys. Bert Westerman from the Lonsdale Jokers joined with us, as well as Mike Madison. Guys, welcome to Fed Up.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for having us.
I'm excited to have you because I mean it's been a goal of ours to have everyone represented in the league. Your guys is one of the few teams that have eluded us to this point, but took a B championship to get you on. But I'm excited to hear a little bit more about your team, about your season. But first, I want to get to know a little bit about you guys and your baseball story. So, Bert, would you just start with yours, please?
Sure. Yeah. Grew up in Montgomery, the town next door to Lonsdale. Used to be Montgomery Lonsdale High School. Yeah, played all kinds of ball growing up. 1999 Redbirds were the state champs of the. I think it was a 2 division thing back then. So it's one of our hurlers, Brian Vosapka, number 2,
Yep.
was pitching back then. So I've been catching him since I've been about 10 years old.
Very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my baseball story, man. I just love playing in the Fed. Started as like couldn't wait to turn 35 and been digging it ever since, man. Not just the baseball, but the camaraderie afterwards, of course, and meeting fellow jokers, if you will,
Yeah.
like yourselves along the way, and made a ton of good pals and had lots of good memories.
No, I love it. Mike, would you share yours too?
Yeah, I grew up in Lee Center, town really close to Montgomery. Wasn't associated with the high school at that time. They are now. Played with the Lee Center Chiefs for about 5 years out of high school. We played in the 1360, met a lot of great teams down there. Ended up coming over to play with the Montgomery Mallards. That's where I met Bert, and many other great ball players. Finished in New Prague with the Orioles, another good group of guys. Took a couple of years off of playing ball before you had some kids, that sort of thing, and turned 35 and said I want my kids to kind of grow up on the diamond. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And was fortunate enough to reconnect with guys like Bert and Brian and many other guys, Cooch, and start playing with the Jokers. Geez, I mean, if we're not playing with the Federal League, so many good guys that we've met. But me, Bert, and so many other jokers, we're coaching our kids too, right? So
Yep.
we're in a field all the time, and that's where I want to be. So yeah, besides that, I umpire for the Northwest Umpire Association. So it's not uncommon for me to be at a field 5-6 days a week in the summer. Bless my wife's heart.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, she's there's a special place in heaven for some of these spouses that don't see their men much in the summer. But thank you guys for both for sharing. And I swear this is a celebration show, and we're gonna get into it. I want to hear about your run. But I gotta know what happened in the regular season. Maybe a little bit of foreshadowing with the coaching guys, but is it more than just getting the guys there? I mean, you guys started 0-5 this year. We played against you in that AA game last year, and I'm like, wow, these guys are really, really good. That was such a well played game. I was expecting you guys to be up, up, up this year. What happened? Tell me about the slow start.
Mikey, you go first.
Yeah, I mean, interesting, right? I've been playing for the last 8 years for the Jokers. We've been double A or fighting. I think we were in triple A a couple times. So this was kind of a shock for us. I mean, we had seasons where we started out slow, but we absolutely finished like a lion. This year, for whatever reason, I did kind of foreshadow it. I mean, it's not uncommon for us when we do have a full roster to have 15, 16 boys that are, between 7 and 12, 13 years old, all playing traveling baseball, and all of us are coaching. So to get kind of our what I would call our core 6 or 7 guys there every time this year, it didn't happen as often. But we the guys that were there were great group of guys. Love every one of them. Had a lot of fun, but yeah, we had an off year, no doubt.
Yeah, we're doing some heavy recruiting. We're getting older, Mike and I as well, so we're trying to get some guys that their age starts with a 3 to join. We got some great new additions, Ben Lazari, Drake Otto. We had Hank Toolin make a couple cameos. He came back. He's like early 50s and his arm blew up after game 1, but we're trying new recipes, trying to get it going. Like Mike said, we definitely have we lost Dan Rude to the I think Rail 19 kind of scooped him up in the off season as a free agent. Perhaps that's the local bar in Lonsdale.
Okay.
But we had some injuries with some key dudes. Uh, yeah, yeah. We so like
I'm like, whose nickname is that?
our recipe just wasn't quite right this year for the regular season, but we're in it to win. Obviously, when you're at the plate, it might as well be Game 7 of the World Series, but at the end of the day, we don't really give a shit. We want to see our buddies and have some fun. And then when it gets serious in the end, we tend to turn it on a little bit more. So
Define disappointment. Like, I mean, because I feel like if you ever run into you guys on the weekend, no matter the field, no matter the bracket, you guys are juiced, ready to be there. It doesn't feel like any of that phases you, what you're doing or what bracket you're in. So I'm assuming all of that would have been handled on the like. How big of a deal was it that holy shit, we're in B this year? Was it that big of a deal, or is it like
No,
all those are the break?
no.
I
Yeah,
don't think so.
I don't feel it was. Go ahead, Mike.
I mean, we weren't ecstatic about it, to be
Right.
honest, right? But we were like, well, shit, we're here, so let's just do what we got to do.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, you guys, in your predictions episode, our text groups were blowing up that the pressure was on us,
Yeah.
73 some odd percent chance to win. We're like, well, we can't blow this. Um, and so yeah, again, disappointing year. I mean, we've been in the double A, the worst, the 8th seed of double A and been in the championship game. We've been in double A, been the top seed and lost the first 2 games. Like it happens. I doubt many people would have wanted to see us in A or double A, just because they know we could put up a bunch of runs and we could beat them. You never know how we're gonna show up. Joker ball is real.
It's so true.
Who runs you
I don't
guys'
think there was. I'm sorry. There wasn't a lot of disappointment. I don't feel like when we ended up in B, it was like, hey, fuck it, we're here.
Right.
Let's go
No.
play ball.
Mhm.
So it wasn't like we're sad and whatever, kicking the dog.
It's just
It was,
wild,
We
like,
weren't tapping
it's just-
bottles
it
when we
just-
won it either.
yeah, that's also true.
and this might be painting with a broad brush here, and this is kind of going off topic here, but I feel the way that teams deal with the beds that they make in the South, they deal with it so much better than in the Metro and North. Like, if you just play with the guys you got, you figure it out and you land where you land, and then you go all in for that weekend. I feel like there's not much. What or if we don't succeed this weekend, some shit's gonna be happening. We're gonna be making
Yeah.
some changes here. I feel like that happens around as we go out this way, and so I'm always envious of the culture in the South Division with the parts, the camaraderie, the community, and then just all you guys have been playing ball together forever, and you can't replicate that anywhere else. So it's just one of those other things that I'm always fascinated when we talk about teams from the South, because there's a little bit of mystery, because I'm just not as familiar to me, and you just operate on a different wavelength than most other teams. I feel like that's just an outsider though.
It's very possible. I, from my perspective, Mike, you should weigh in too. But like, this ride ends, man, and we're not playing baseball one day. So
Mhm.
like, I give a fuck if we're in B or AAA or the All Star. Like, we get another day to go lace them up. Oftentimes, like Mike mentioned, we all have a bunch of kids playing ball or young kids, and they're coming out and seeing their dad play baseball. Like,
Yep.
if we don't win it all or don't have a great season or lay an egg in the tournament, life is going to go on. So it's not, we're not living and dying with our resume in over 35 baseball. Although we love it, it's just not. It's about the game and having some fun and hanging out with guys that you really care about far more than if we get hardware, which is cool, but I don't know. It's not what it's all about to me personally.
Yeah, I don't disagree. When it comes to the South too, I think one thing, again, Chris, I don't even know, we play some of the teams that are in the South, mainly in the playoffs, right? But we drink beers with the other teams after the games. Like, they come to our park, they buy beer and sit with us after the game and ham it up, talk about the game, talk about who they played last week. Shit, we talk about something that happened 20 years ago when we were playing against each other. It's just a great thing, right? It's just that's what I love. I love playing ball. Like Bert said, kids chasing foul balls, trying to be the bad boy, and then after the game, it's over. Kids eating a hot dog and a ring pop for dinner every once in a while, and then having a few beers with
Third
some of
Mountain Dew
guys
of the
that you
night,
played
yeah.
with, or against. It's great.
Yeah. I handed my kids a 50 spot at Alley Magnet, and I said, "It's yours. I don't want any change, but you got to eat 3 meals on this, so make it last."
That's awesome.
We got to talk about it. I made the comment on that prediction episode at the Tap Society that the South perhaps a little bit overrated. At times it was just a down year, really across the board. I mean, for some teams, when they got to the tournament, it reared its head. Hastings, not a very good showing. Lakeville, not a very good showing. There's some teams that were down in the regular season that aren't typically, like Milltown, you guys. Uh, I mean, there were some surprises in there. Northfield had a really strong year. Elko put on a pretty good showing, for most of the season as well. But just talk a little bit about maybe the competitiveness in the South, and if what we're seeing is kind of trend or mirage.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I was surprised by Hastings kind of early fall. They were a solid squad, good group of dudes too.
Yep.
At least from our experience. When they exited a little earlier than I thought. I thought they had a good chance to go a little farther. Northfield's kind of had a resurgence. I think they
Yeah.
were kind of like for a couple of years, and now they look strong. They hit the crap out of the
Yep.
ball this year. Probably could use a little pitching like us. To replenish some pitching. Elko, they had a year or two where they didn't seem like they were up there, but boy, they competed against everybody in the South and won a bunch of them, right? Maybe some close games, but they did. We love going to parks like St. Patrick and Dundas.
Yep.
So those guys are always fun to play. And we're pretty competitive, typically competitive against them and Vestley. Lakeville's Lakeville, Newmarket's Newmarket. So it's hard to know, there has been a little bit of an ebb and flow this year in the competitiveness, but again, I thought Hastings was really solid, so it surprised me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I think this is maybe anecdotal, but we're having a harder time recruiting guys that are just hanging up their town ball spikes for some reason. I think there's more competition with the cabin lifestyle and golf
Sure.
that I'm somewhat shocked by, to be honest. Like when I turned 35, it was like I couldn't wait, and I knew I was going to join
Yep.
the Jokers. I'd hung it up in town ball, I don't know, 3 or 4 years prior. And we couldn't wait, and there was like a flood of us that joined right away. We're having to like pull on guys to try to get them, and we're kind of like drug dealers in that way, where we feel like once we get them a
Yeah.
taste and they show up for
Yep.
a game or two, they're like, I'm in. I'll never miss another game. But we're having a hard time getting them there for the first time. I'm not sure what the dynamic is there causing it, but we're doing all we can to incentivize some guys to give it a try, and
There's
we
some
think that they'll
finesse
come back.
there.
Great Up
There's
Vodka. I mean, we were offering it up to anybody that wants to
Oh
come
yeah,
play with me.
yeah. We're sponsored by Great Duck Vodka.
There you
No
go.
joke. No
Sure,
joke. Mark
right.
Cotter, he had a bomb this year, couple maybe. Yeah, he's one of the founders of Great Ducks Vodka. So enjoy some Bomba, please.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mark Cotter and Shad Greenway, right?
Yes, sir.
Unbelievable.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you mentioned that, being able to pull guys from town ball, and you mentioned how it's kind of been a struggle, but a lot of teams don't have that natural kind of feeder program, right? Where they have both a town ball team and a 35 plus team located oftentimes in the same community, playing on the same field. It just feels like a very natural transition to go from one to the next. I think the Federal League presence is growing. I think, people are starting to take notice of the baseball is still very competitive in this league, but I feel like you're still in a stronger position having those town ball teams and those dedicated almost feeder programs. Whereas a team like the Pipers or the A's or Minoka, it's not quite an obvious transition from the young guys to the old guys. What I saying, is that making sense?
Yeah, a little bit. It's just not a lot of numbers. So we have like 1 or 2 guys,
Sure.
if you take both towns together, that are still playing ball when they're getting close to the age where they would be eligible to play in the Federal League. So the numbers just aren't there.
Yeah.
Where I've had more success at work, frankly, with guys that haven't played in years, saying, "Hey, you should try this. It's pretty fun," and we get them a taste, and they stick around. So yeah, I'm not sure what's causing it, what's causing people to opt out. I think they kind of see it as a bunch of old guys playing ball, and they're like, when I hang it up, I'm done. Um, we're working on it. I might be a shitty salesman too. Could be part of it.
Bert, I gotta ask, what do you do for work? And the mustache is it's on point. It's a defining characteristics of the team.
I'm not a cop or a fireman, so you cross those off your list if you were wondering. No, I'm a commercial general contractor, so I'm in construction.
All right. And as long as we're on random Joker questions, who runs your guys' social media account? Because I love it. It's a great follow.
Go ahead, Mike. You know the.
I mean, is that something we give up? Is that
You don't have to. You don't have to.
It's Bags. Yeah.
Okay.
Brian Bolsavka has
Yeah.
been for a few years. So yeah, when he's on point, it's usually pretty funny. There's a lot of pretty good Joker memes.
Yes.
Right? So,
And you guys can pull from so many different eras. Obviously Heath Ledger has so many, great, memes that we can pull from there for your feed. But you can go animated Joker, you can go comical Joker from the Adam West days. Like it's so versatile, and I love the name, I love the color scheme, love everything about your group.
Chris had one of the best ever. Like this is early AI days. We all remember it. You remember that post you had, I believe, with
I think that was actually a GIF.
Yes.
Was it a GIF?
Yeah. So the first one we played them. I think this was the year. I think you guys snuck into AA as the 8, and we somehow ended up as the 1, and you guys beat us right up front out the gate, and there was this GIF of Heath Ledger's the Joker just and hit. And it was just on repeat, and I just said the Joker's just hit and hit and hit. And then I think that was the one I remembered off the top because I remember you coming after that. But I don't know if you're thinking of a different one. But.
Well, who had the one where you took your jersey off and it was?
That was me. Yeah, that was last year.
Yeah,
that was that.
That was like at Alley Magnet. That was before we even knew what OpenAI was. I didn't.
Yeah, literally, Twitter is half the reason why we all play too.
Yeah, and the Fed Up podcast.
No,
sure.
Well, and that's kind of the vibe we'd always kind of got. And then we've never had the chance to play you, but like you said, we've run into you at the playoffs a couple of times. And two things, the yellow tank top. I need one. I need to know who I need to do whatever to get one. So that's A. Because I need something to complement my St. Zubas.
Yeah. Oh, and that would look so good.
And then second, you guys got a couple of guys, red hair. One of them's got at least red hair, really pale. And just every time I've met him, he's been my best friend for 3 hours until 2:00 in the morning.
Danny Rudd. He's the one that got recruited by
I've
Real
never
19.
met his name or heard his name, but we are best friends. Good luck tonight when we take off from the parking lot, the whole deal. And I so feel bad because there are two of them. One I can just see, like he's sitting right in front of me, just kind of got a little sweat going, just really in the bag. And then the other guys just always tag along with them. But either way, these guys have hung out in our parking lots till the extent of the wee mornings where it's like, God damn, we live 15 minutes from Lonsdale. What the hell are we doing playing? Why don't we just go play with these guys?
Right.
You know what I mean? It'd be so much fun, so easy, whatever. So you got some guys that put out a vibe that is welcoming to what I would say most of the guys in the Fed would be all about is just the vibe, the having fun, getting after it, playing the game, and then having fun after. Solid.
You're talking about Danny Rudd.
Yeah.
Danny Rudd's the redhead. He got picked up in free agency by Real 19. And then Mitch Migler, you might recall, he's about the same height. Laugh a minute kind of guy. His wife actually made the tank tops for us. And
that's right.
He
did tell me that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Coincidentally, he's so he lives in Plymouth, and we recruited a couple guys, pals of his, down to our team this year. Drake Otto, who threw really well for us. They're kicking around, starting something in the Northwest. So I'm going to need like a veto vote if this comes up because one, we need the bodies.
Yeah. I think it'll go through just
and two, we don't look kindly on the mutinies.
Well, it sounds like we maybe got the birth of our next merger with the South Metro Saints and the Lonsdale Jokers. But
come on down, Chris.
I mean, it's technically South Metro yet, right? So,
yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say I don't think anyone will sign off on abolishing a team in Plymouth because they just want someone else that has a shot at Minoka. So if there's a new sexy team that has a possibility of landing in their division, I think that'll go.
Well, if you've seen Mitch Migler and the word sexy don't really go together all that well, even though I love him to death. He's a great dude. Great dude. He's been a great addition.
let's look at your bookend year. So you guys start. I mentioned you start 0-5. You end up winning your last 5 to kind of uh, be the heads to the tails. I know you got not the Two Face. You guys are the Jokers, but we'll cut that. Um, but it wasn't an easy path. You know, all 4 champions this year end up going 4-0, staying in the winner bracket, doing it the efficient way. Ended up saving the league almost $1,100 in umpire fees by not having any of those second games. But it wasn't without some drama. I mean, you guys played some close games there. You know, nipping the Cannons 6-4. You guys sneaked by the Diamonds in that first game 7-6. Talk a little bit about those games, just how tight they were, and maybe some of the heroes and highlights that got you through them.
Yeah, the Cannons, they put up a good fight. I mean, I would say our theme of the playoffs, giving up runs, was our defense wasn't stellar. So we gave away a few runs for sure, and they got a few bloops, couple hard hit balls. But I threw that game, but we had a couple guys that got some nice hits. If I recall, they threw a thumber, and it took us a few innings to figure it out, and then we ended up taking care of business. And then Bert, I wasn't at the second game. I was at SummerSlam with my 8-year-old son. So go ahead and run the second game.
Nice.
Criminy, I don't remember. I think we maybe ran through that
Oh, that's
one pretty good.
Bloomington.
Yeah.
20 some to something or another.
Yeah, it was our bats heated up there. So that one was kind of like whatever. That one wasn't too rough on us. I think our bats heated up at the right time after we kind of were slept into the first game.
Yeah, held the Biscuits to 2 field goals to your 3 touchdowns in that one. Yeah, 21-6, the final on the Sunday game out at Big Willow. But then that second weekend, again on Saturday, that tough game with the Diamonds, you guys narrowly sneaked by them 7-6. And honestly, one of my favorite parts about our league and our playoff format is having this B bracket, with some teams that have struggled all year long. They get a chance to compete against some oftentimes like competition. So I was excited to see teams like the Cannons, put it together. The Diamonds had a really nice showing. So I was excited to see them play you competitively on that Saturday game. But who kind of stood out in that one for you, and how did you advance to the championship?
Yeah, so Bert was out of town that game. That was we felt a little pressure with the odds on our
Yeah.
side there. And we did have a few people with predetermined vacations, things of that
Yep.
nature, right? So Bags threw that game, started it, and Ben Lazaro came in and did a great job to finish it out. So that was huge. Again, we saw a lefty that really just kind of barely got the ball over the plate, but effective, like for like 3 innings. Tommy Hopper hit the crap out of the ball, and he had a great playoff, and really played awesome defensively. So that was huge. Kyle Hinkmeyer hit the crap out of the ball for us that day too. Um, we all kind of came through at certain times. We had a little rough, some rough defensive plays. Kind of let them back in the game. It was a back and forth game, and they ended up tying at the top of the 7th, and we were able to get some runners on in the bottom and win it. And to be honest, this hasn't really been discussed, but thank God we did. We had 5 players leave to go to the that night right after that game to go to the Savannah Bananas game.
Sure.
I don't know if we would have had enough players to play that second game.
It's true.
We had conversations before the game, like, hey, if we don't take care of this, like, we may have to let them know, like, it was a good run, we're done. Like, but
Yeah.
thankfully we took care of it, got the W, and truthfully, Chasker then had to play the next game and burned another pitcher. So
Yep.
we knew we were in a good spot that Sunday to throw some good arms if we needed, and then just start hitting the ball. Bert, I'll let you run through Sunday.
Well, Mikey Casino, he walked it off Saturday, didn't he?
That's true. Yeah,
Because I was on an airplane following along. Yeah, Sunday we started out. We went down 5 early before we figured it out, and then bats got hot, and I think the Diamonds were out of arms, so it was like it was kind of fish in a barrel at some point. But we went down 5-0, and we weren't sweating it though too bad. We figured we got 2 cracks at them, and we still had a couple arms left as well. So yeah, we were happy to pull out a W and get to take a picture and again, a couple brews after the game. Actually had a
Trophies in the
decent,
mail, we heard.
yeah, with trophies in the queue. It's on layaway or something. Lars was telling us, I think. Like, I'm not quite sure if that fucking
Engraved
thing
on
even
Steam or
exists.
something.
Yeah,
We had
yeah.
we had
We gotta-
jerseys delayed because of a factory fire in Mexico. You know, you never know
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
happening.
We were just rearranging our trophy case to make room, but whatever. We'll I'm sure we
Four
can
more
expect it
payments of
soon.
$28.95, and that B trophy is ours. So you will have
Plus
that
shipping and
delivered to you
handling.
soon.
Unapproved credit, so we're fucked.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about Red Haddocks. How was that as a venue for your championship?
No issue. Good field. They had a concession stand open. They had an announcer. So that's an improvement
Yeah.
from years past in the playoffs. That through our experience, there was a few times when we were playing even in Burnsville, late in the playoffs, and there didn't even seem to be a scoreboard working, and we're like, well, at bare minimum, can we at least have that, right? So they did a good job of hosting us. So no complaints.
I thought it was nice. It had like nice stadium seating, especially. I mean, I get it; it's the B championship, but there was decent stadium seating behind it, and it was pretty full with the announcer. It felt pretty legit. I kind of liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, we spent the whole week, 2 weekends there, and I was surprised. Like, why don't we? We're the South. I mean, why don't we? Do we look into this venue? Maybe it's
Yeah,
it's convenient. It's easy to get to. It's everything about it is pretty much solid. So, yeah, I
I
liked
thought
it.
so too. Yeah, I mean, candidly, if I guess you asked for an opinion and you didn't ask for a comparison, but I thought it was far nicer than Big Willow, and it had a scoreboard that functioned,
Oh, it
which
is
was cool.
for sure.
Yeah, well, always looking to improve. I think it would be on a lot of people's list to opt Big Willow out of the playoff rotation. You know, it's still a venue that we're reliant on now for now, but you pointed out some of the things, you know, with the concession stand, and you know, we got to operate the own scoreboard there. So yeah, I think Red Haddocks is going to be a staple in the rotation. So I'm glad to hear that it went well there and it serves you guys well.
What else we got to add, Mike?
You
Anything
tell
else for
me,
the pod,
yeah.
or Josh, or Chris?
You tell me I can give you a good prompt. Otherwise we can land the plane. But yeah, tell me anything. Did I miss anything?
We just got a
No.
bunch of fucking buddies that are going to be like, "Why didn't you mention my name?" And they're going to when they listen to it.
Yeah.
Right? We did have some good dudes. Like, no joke, we had some good dudes go down this year. Like Dan Rude wasn't actually drafted by Rail 19 in liquor, but he had a neck issue. Darren McEtherin, who's kind of like one of the staples in the dugout, makes tons of games. His family's always there. He had an injury as well. Jeremy Cruz, he got a second elbow surgery. He's one of our hurlers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just getting old, man. I think
LB had his fifth kid, fourth or fifth.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You know, that's a lot, right?
Fifth.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
We'll be
I mean,
back. We'll be back. We'll be slugging it out with you boys in a different class next year.
Well, I fully expect it. I mean, you guys, when you've got the group there, you are certainly capable of hanging with the best in this league. So, no surprise at all to either us or to Statboy Claude that you guys get it done in the B bracket. But congratulations nonetheless. Super excited to see you guys end your season on a high note. I think there are way too many in the Fed that know your plight when it comes to sharing your roster with many youth teams throughout the state, and then when you pile the injuries on top, it can certainly make for a rough year. But happy that you got your day in the sun. And again, just a couple more payments, we'll get that B trophy out to you guys. Congrats again on a really nice run and getting that done despite all the pressure piled on you. With being the overwhelming favorite 1 seed there. But congrats to our B champions. We can raise our glass. We can give you a cheers. You guys end your season on a winning note. Only one of 4 teams to go ahead and say that they did it. But cheers to you, and looking
Cheers.
forward
Cheers, buddy.
to seeing what you guys are capable of next year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Chris. Love the podcast.
Love it.
Love the Jokers. Till I die.
I love the Jokers. Jokers
love
are my
the
second
Jokers,
favorite
too.
team.
You guys
My
should just come down
We
and play
love
with
that you
us,
love the
man. We're
Jokers.
talking about needing bodies.
You're
If you want to have
bringing
a
it
good
up at-
time and play ball, we're your squad.
I love it. Well, thanks guys again for your time.
Thank you, guys.
And
Yeah.
congrats on the victory. Look
Good
forward
luck
to
tonight.
seeing you next year.
And good luck tonight, gentlemen.
I mentioned that those Joker guys they got it right. They understand the core of the Federal League baseball. I think that was very evident in the interview. We just heard from them. Guys that just like playing ball, guys who like playing with the group that they have. You know, they do it very, very well at a very high level when they've got everyone there. But when they don't, they still have a good time. They still bring the kids out. Super fun to have them on, get to know them a little bit better. Congrats to our B champions, the Lonsdale Jokers.
Ultimate formula for every team. It's the ideal situation for every team, aside from the B bracket, the whole shenanigans. But they're the type of team that could be a AAA threat. So that's what makes this all the more crazy. But yes, the Lonsdale Jokers, probably my favorite other group in the league at this point.
Well, there you go. Maybe that merger is more likely than we anticipate. But anyways, we can't put our glasses down yet because it's time to raise them once again. This time to our A champions, the St. Michael Angels. They go back to back. They do it without Dan Pluff being a part of things this year. No Pluff, no problem. They get it done, led by some great pitching, some great defense. But we've got Mark Worms on next to talk more about it.
We got Worms.
Well, it is time now to celebrate our Class A champions, the St. Michael Angels. Joining us now from their team is the manager, Mr. Mark Worms. Mark, welcome to Fed Up.
Hey, thanks guys for having me. It's fun to be here and talk some baseball.
Well, we're looking forward to doing that. But before we do, we'd like to, whenever we have a new guest on the show, we'd like to hear a little bit about your baseball story. So please, if you would you share it with us, please?
Sure. I guess it goes back to all the way when I was 5 years old. And I remember watching my first Minnesota Twins game and seeing Rod Carew hit and just falling in love with the sport. And my dad taking me right out to Pomida and buying a baseball glove. And it's, it was my passion growing up, playing high school. I never played college. I wanted to experience college a little bit more. So I did play a little bit of town ball after high school, but then once college hit it, trying to live your real life, I played some softball, but moved around quite a bit. So never really got set up too much. And then it was about 16 years ago now, Keith Jacobson. I worked with him, if anybody remembers him. And he asked me if I played ball. I told him I used to, and he kind of got me started in the path. So that's when I found that I had a team in St. Michael where I was living and kind of got started there and got back into it. And it's been pure joy ever since.
Yeah, I love that. A couple of great nostalgic throwbacks there with Pomida and Rod Carew. Yeah. So I absolutely love that. So congrats on the championship. You guys go back to back in 2025 and 26.
Yep.
What was different? How did the seasons, the two runs feel similar, and how did they feel different?
So they felt similar in the fact that I think we were similarly seeded. We were the 1 or 2 seed both years. The difference this year over last year was our hitting. We've added a couple guys in the off season, a couple guys that can put the ball out of the park. So our lineup was much deeper this year. It didn't, if you look at our stats throughout the season, it doesn't necessarily look that way. But the one thing I stress on my guys is, make as many games as you can in the regular season, but you block out these 2 weeks for the postseason and you make the games. So we had pretty much everybody available for us in the playoffs. And I mean, I had guys on my bench that normally would be 3, 4, 5 hitters in the regular season. depending on what kind of lineup I could put out there. So we had a lot of depth going into the playoffs this year, and the hitting really just came through. I don't think I've seen that many runs put up in a 4-game stretch for our team ever. So that was it was a lot of fun to watch.
You're not wrong. Looking in, some of the scores from your bracket, it looked almost more like football scores than baseball scores at some point. But your field goal kicker, your quarterback were very active apparently during this tournament.
Well, we had in 3 of the 4 games, we had at least one. We had one inning where we scored at least 6 runs in 3 out of the 4 games. So, and they weren't just, of course you're going to have a few of your bloopers in there, but it wasn't just bleeders and Texas leaguers. We had some hard hit balls in there and good offensive play.
Your second weekend opened up with a pretty special feat. I want you to talk a little bit about that game and about some of your pitchers, and maybe Chris, we'll let you weigh in on this as well after.
Yeah, so one of the new guys that we added, Brian McCollum, a young guy who's still playing some town ball, so we didn't have necessarily full access to him all regular season, but he was one of those guys that I mainly brought in because he's a big bat. He's a big guy, but he's also a big bat. He hit a home run for us this year, a couple of loud foul balls, but as it turned out, he can also pitch. And when he throws, it doesn't look like he's throwing that hard, but he's got decent velocity, and not a single one of his balls goes the same direction. It's dodging and weaving and going all over the place. So it doesn't look like he's doing that much, but boy, he was tough to hit all year. So when we were able to put him out there for the first game, or for our third game, I don't think they squared up more than about 3 or 4 balls the whole game. It was just fun to watch, and we had good defense behind him, which always helps. But yeah, he kept them off balance the whole game and got out of it. We were biting our tongues not to say that there were no hits on the board, and literally on the scoreboard, they didn't even have a 0 up there. There was just an empty spot on the scoreboard. So we had to really be careful not to jinx it, and we got away with the no-hitter in the playoffs.
I was going to say, I didn't even realize there was a no-hitter because I thought that hit thing was just broken and it wasn't working. I wanted to kind of, I'm glad you brought him up because I was talking to Josh before this and noted him. I'm glad you called him out. It's every time we've brought you guys up, whether it was last year when you won or in the past, it's usually has something to do with how good Dan is, or Dan did this or whatever, and he's kind of been the face of the Angels from afar, at least.
For sure.
Talk about some of those guys that have helped you. I mean, guys that have been there for years that probably just haven't got the run, like Sean and some of those guys. New guys, like who are the main key guys that maybe some of us who play in the East don't get to hear about all the time?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And yeah, of course, our face, when you got a guy who can throw low to mid 80s, it's hard to not be the face of a team with Dan
And
Pluff.
And I might, if you don't mind me saying, a total prick too. So
he's a great player, but I had to kick him off the team.
Attitude. Yeah. Didn't fit the culture. Yeah.
No, for sure. No, and right around the time that we were able to get him, we were able to get Sean Model, and he's been just a rock for us. Mm-hmm. He pitches anytime we need him to pitch. He hits the ball a ton. He's super fast, and he's one of those guys where if you look at him, you think he drank about 5 cups of coffee right before the game started, because he is just always moving.
Yeah,
and he's fun to watch. He's fun to play behind because he's keeping the ball in the zone. He's making guys hit the ball, and for the most part, he's not having a lot of hard contact off. So he's got a decent slider and a good fastball. And he's been fantastic for us for the last 3 years.
Well, I just speaking from another A team, I feel like us A teams usually have the same foibles, like the same, and so to see a team in A that was pitching it like you guys were, barreling it like you guys were. And then the defense you guys play, I mean, you said we barreled up 4 or something. They were in decent times where we had a couple guys on base and you guys had to go catch it or make plays on it.
Yeah.
Every play at every time. So it was basically it was like, oh gosh, we're gonna cut that, but yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah, we've got a center fielder in Jesse Hackenmuller, who also coaches the St. Michael Albertville High School team, and he's a smooth, fast center fielder that if there's anything even close to being in his range, he's going to catch it, and he's saved us so many times, especially in the playoffs. This running balls down that you thought might have gotten into the gap, and just making it look easy. So it's nice when you can put guys out there and we had, for the most part, all 3 of our guys in the outfield had really good speed, good arms, and could make the plays that needed to be made.
Yeah, not a ton of kicking it around, that's for sure. No,
No.
you guys look good. And like I told Josh, or when we did the first episode this year, when I saw you guys in in the championship game last year, I'm like, God, these guys look really good. I mean, what is the deal here? So it's no surprise that you guys followed up. So I just want to offer congratulations and thanks for making our Saturday really long and then ultimately shitty. So I appreciate that.
Well, I can tell you from experience of having to go through the losers bracket number of years, that is a tough slog.
Yeah.
That is just, and I mean, one of the things that most of us A teams don't have is a super tremendous amount of pitching depth. So once you get past your first 2 or 3 pitchers, you're fighting it at that point. And when you're playing 3-4 games in a weekend, it's a tough hill to climb.
Those games where you got everyone's 4th guy going on Sunday can get long at times, but luckily it didn't get that far for us. And as we move forward here, we'll find out it wasn't that terribly tasking for you guys either.
Well, that's the fortunate thing of coming through the winners bracket is we were able to pitch our 2 main guys. We had one guy, our 3rd guy in the wings, who was ready to go, Craig Matheson, who's pitched a lot of innings for us. But going through the winners bracket's obviously a lot easier way to go.
I'm sure it'll be a theme for a couple of the interviews we're going to do tonight, but all 4 teams go 4-0 in the winner bracket and get it done the very efficient way. So it's just a weird feeling, I'm sure, to have arms to spare at the end of the weekend and have guys that didn't maybe even see action when other teams were scrapping for pitching.
Yeah, it was kind of tough. It was weird. We actually, so in the 4th game, we had a pretty big lead. Thought we were going to be able to 10 run. And then Sean, who had thrown a ton of pitches that game, started giving up some runs. We actually did boot the ball around a little bit and let them back into the game. And I was going to bring Craig in. I thought he was warming up. And I literally called to bring him in. And he said, I'm not ready to go. I'm like, oh, great. So Sean had to come out and pitch the last inning, and I think he got him 1, 2, 3 on 6 pitches. So it worked out.
Good thing the bullpen phone was broken, I guess. 2 players that I love on your team, your middle infielders. Shortstop, you're going to have to help me with his name, but he's got the long hair and just moves so well.
Aaron Smolinski. Yeah, he's been a staple in the Federal League for quite a while. He played with the Mammoth for a while. He played with Lakeville for a while. And he's playing on a TC Mabel team right now. So again, it's a guy that we get, but their games conflict with our games a lot. So we didn't get him a ton in the regular season, enough to get his games in. But for the playoffs, he was there for us the whole time. And yeah, he's smooth out there.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of plays, and he's a good wheels and a good hitter.
Yeah, smooth is the right word for it, for sure. And then his counterpart on the other side, Scotty Moe. I absolutely love Scott Morris. He is a high motor guy, great clubhouse guy. I've had a chance to play with him a few times, but tell the folks listening just what he means to your squad.
So Scott Morris, just even outside of baseball, is one of my best friends. You're not going to get a guy who knows much more about baseball than him. He eats, breathes, and drinks baseball. In fact, we were just at the batting cages this afternoon, and he's got an app on his phone. He's taking video of me telling me where I need to fix some hitches in my swing, and showing me and breaking it down on his phone. And it's just, he's so fun to talk baseball with, because as long as you got time, you'll learn something when he talks.
Yeah, I love playing with him, against him. You described him very accurately. I love too that when he's not talking or playing baseball, you can see him on the tractor taking care of the field most of the time too. So
Yep. Yeah, he wants to get his hands dirty. He wants anything about the game. He's involved in it. So yeah, he's a great guy to have on the team, and on the bench he helps out me a ton.
sure. What does a run like this do for engagement for your roster? Or would you say guys were fired up to return after last year? Were they still as hungry to win it once you were placed in the A this year? Just talk about kind of the mentality of the ups and downs of when you win this thing, and how that affects just the overall demeanor in the dugout.
So yeah, we brought back pretty much. I think we lost one or two guys from last year, but not anybody off our core. So we were able to bring back the core, and like I said, add a couple guys onto that. And yeah, there was definitely a hunger to get back, and we were on the fringes of the AA playoffs for most of the year, and really thought we had a chance to get in. And I can't remember if it was a tiebreaker that knocked us out, or if we got knocked out because of the last game we lost. And I'll be honest, I was a little frustrated. I was really hoping to get into the AA, and I know a lot of the guys on the team were hoping to get into the AA, but we didn't let it affect us, obviously, by the runs we were able to score. We were still, the great thing about our team is it's a great group of guys, and we just want to go out and play ball, and we want to have fun while we're doing it. So nobody got too down or too disappointed that we didn't get into the AA. And pretty much the motto was, let's go back to back. So
I love it. Do you guys do any kind of goal setting or talking about, anything like that at the beginning of the year? Or is that something that you kind of just let chips fall how they may?
mostly it's, let's just let it fall how it may. However, this year, one of the guys on our team, Will Hervin, decided to put together a major league picture of me with puzzle pieces on my shirt, and slowly as we would get victories, it would pull the puzzle pieces off and show my hairy chest.
I can't believe this has or we just missed it. But
Is
is
this
there
gonna get
anything
cut?
out there on this?
No, this
Well,
is
the funny
gold.
thing
This is
is,
staying in.
the funny thing is, he did it through an AI program, and after it had like 3 or 4 puzzle pieces taken off, it wouldn't let him take off anymore. So,
Oh my gosh.
Too funny. Yeah.
yeah.
Glad I asked that question. We might have to try and hunt down a copy of that digital resource that exists somewhere. But
Oh yeah, I want that published. Please let everybody see that.
Yes. Well, great. Tell us a little bit about, you're way too early preview for 2027. Do you expect most of the guys to come back? Do you, would you have aspirations of maybe AA, AAA? What are the thoughts there?
So yeah, as of right now, I don't see us losing many, and I already know I've recruited a new catcher for the team, a 35-year-old who plays town ball. But again, a lot of it's going to come down to pitching, as it does with most teams, and especially at our level. If you can find 1 or 2 new pitchers, then that's going to make all the difference in the world. But we definitely have a great base to start out. So we've got a great base of guys that have been on the team for 4 or 5 years. And if we keep adding a piece here and there to build on that base and expand it, I would like to think that we could definitely be knocking on the AA door next year if we can get the good pitching, and it comes down to what team you can put on the field most days. If you get a good lineup to be able to put out there, which we didn't always have, and we've struggled with at certain points throughout the last few years. But at the same time, we're getting more depth in our quality, so it'll be it's going to be a fun year. I think we're going to be pretty good.
Well, you talked about just how strong you are up the middle, adding pieces at catcher, you're pitching already with Modal and McCallum. We've talked about the middle infielders. We talked about the center fielder. Clearly a lot of strength up the middle, which obviously matters so much. Depth is certainly that ingredient in the recipe that, can get you, through April through May into June and set you up where you want to be into the playoffs. And then with your guys' commitment and their ability to block out those 2 weeks like you asked them to do,
Yep.
I tend to agree. I think the stock is rising, and everyone's got to take note of the St. Michael Angels for 2027 and beyond.
Well, and we have some good leadership on the team. Will Hervin, like I mentioned before, I think he had 10 hits in the playoffs, and he's a hitting machine, and he does a lot of little things outside of on the field to lead the team. And he's going to have a more advanced role in leading the team next year too. So he's kind of going to be the guy who's going to help bring our Angels into the next, hopefully to the next level. Yes, fly Angels.
I think we can. Anything else you want to hit on, Mark, kind of before we kind of sign off and hit a tagline?
No, I just want to thank all my guys for giving me their best and joining me on the field all year, and thank everybody in the league for what they do. All the guys on the league board, and everybody who does extra to make sure that this league runs every year. Just running a team, I know, is a lot of work. Running the league has got to be exponentially more work. So I just want to thank everybody for all they do to let us play this game and have fun. So, yeah.
Well, congrats again, Mark, on the back-to-back champions, the A champions, the St. Michael Angels. You guys are wonderful hosts out at the Hickory. Looking forward to seeing you out there for that. But before we let you go, we'll raise a glass and we'll toast to our champions, the St. Michael Angels.
I didn't know that was a requirement. I would have brought some.
Go
beer.
say
It's
Michael.
a toast, Mark.
Don't say Michael.
My bad.
No, thank you so
John.
much for your time, for being on, and for sharing a little bit about your season. Congrats again. Look forward to seeing you in a few weeks.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Chris.
Mark. Well, admittedly, I miss Pluff a little bit. I mean, he was such a fun get for us, and we had a great time when he was on. But Mark, an unbelievable dude. Just you can tell how much he loves the game, and you can tell how core he is to that team's culture and their ability to win back to back. Look out for the Angels in 2027. Sounds like they're tooling up. They've got all the pieces. I think this team could really make some noise and perhaps sneak into a AA, AAA in the very, very near future.
And it seems like they got some steam now, and they're gonna maybe plug in some of the or backfill some of the gaps that they've been missing, and look out for some more competition up that way, because those arms are established now and they ain't going anywhere. They're just going to add to them, and they looked really, really impressive in that single A bracket all throughout.
Well, and perhaps the feat of the tournament, getting a no-hitter from McCallum, much to your chagrin, unfortunately, but not easy to do that in any bracket. It takes a lot of defense, takes a lot of consistency, an unbelievable performance. Not only on a personal level, but from the team perspective to repeat as the A champions. Well, we are joined now by a representative of our Class AA champions, the Apple Valley A's, Mr. Reggie Stevens. Reggie, welcome to Fed Up.
Thanks, Stoley. Can't believe you finally lured me on to be on here for the first time. Feel honored.
After years and years of asking, we finally land the man that anchors our infield. Let's introduce you to the league here. Let's hear a little bit about your baseball story.
Sure. Well, it's nothing too crazy. I guess it goes back to as the first I can remember. I had an older brother that was 6 years older, so I guess 2 or 3 years old, always around the game. As he grew older and I grew older, I was always with him and his buddies, whether, I was typically shagging, but they're taking BP. So, I've been around the game since I can remember. And, of course, growing up in a small town, it looks a little bit different, right? From the little league all the way up to high school. You have some opportunities in high school at younger ages probably than you do more often at bigger schools. So I was blessed to have those opportunities. And then after high school, I decided to extend that career to Winona State for 4 years. Well, I should take that back, 5 years. 4 years of baseball, but I did the 5-year program. And met some of my best friends ever down there and enjoyed the heck out of that time. And during those summers as well, I was actually playing amateur ball. I guess it was C level in my hometown. And then 1 year after college, I guess I continued 1 year after college, and then I hung it up. My wife now, then we were just dating, we moved from the Rochester area up to the Twin Cities, and I just decided that I was probably never going to play baseball again. I did play a lot of men's fast pitch softball growing up. I grew up around that, so I did play a little bit of that, which kind of kept that competitive itch a little bit going. But then I guess it would have been, what year did I start? 2019? Does that sound right?
2020, I think, was your first year.
2020, okay. Yeah, it was 2020. So we are moving cross town from Savage to the Lakeville, Apple Valley, Rosemount area, and I get a phone call from Scott Pitzenberger, who is now on our team, and I did not know Scott at the time, but he, of course, you guys were looking for fresh 35-year-olds, some fresh meat there to add to the team, and he got my number from a good buddy of mine I went to college with that he works with, and he sold it pretty good. I'll give him that. He sold it well, and we just had our first child, and I guess I couldn't say no. So I hopped up on that opportunity, and I guess now it's 6 years later, looking back, and it's been a great decision to join the A's. So that's the road.
Yeah, well, we've certainly been very grateful to have you. You're a heck of a ball player, fun to share a dugout with, and baseball's a lot more fun with you for sure. So, well, we got it done, man. Back to back in the AA. Tell me, just how does it feel? How is it different year to year?
It's kind of weird when you're Alley Magnet. It had a little bit of deja vu. The feeling has kind of been the same, to be honest with you. For whatever reason, we play our best ball that the right time of the year. It's we pitch, we hit, we play defense, and it just happens to click at the right time. So I feel like the last 3 years that we've been there, it feels the same. I don't really feel anything different. We've obviously added a few new faces to the dugout, they've been great additions. But other than that, I feel like it's kind of the same feeling year to year to year. So. 4 year, I guess next year and make it forward. That'd be fun to feel that feeling again.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I asked the question, because it really felt that way to me too. Like the years themselves were very different. I mean, year one, we lose the first game of the tournament. We have to come all the way back through the losers bracket. Year two, we make it to the championship game and lose, and then we have to come back and win that do or die game. And now this year, we never trailed. not one time in the tournament, but the end feeling did kind of feel like the same result. Maybe it's because it's the same site, but that's why I asked the question, because I kind of get that deja vu all over again feeling too.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. I mean, each of the 3 years were very different in how we got to the end goal, but I think it is. It's all about just playing there. I think they do a good job of hosting, and the families come, and it's just like kind of the wrap to summer for baseball. And again, back to what I said before, I think this year specifically, the pitching was incredible. Did we even go to the bullpen once? I don't believe so.
We did not make a pitching change. No, 4 complete games out of our starters.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. I mean, we played a clean defense, and I think the opportunistic hitting this year was. I think a lot of it happened with 2 outs in a few of the games. So, I felt the same. It's something about Alley Magnet and early August that things just clicked for the Apple Valley A's. So. It's a lot of fun. I love that end of the year tournament.
So, I mean, aside from the obvious, the play-in situation, I know that's a whole lot to unpack, and how that unfolds and if that changes anything. I feel like you guys pretty much had it kind of established your own way that you were going to approach the weekend regardless, right, going into Wednesday, and we're all on the same page. However, as aligned as you can be, when you get that first ding on Wednesday and all of a sudden you got 2-3 days to regroup, does that do anything to you as far as snap type of moment where you got to be like, okay, buckle up here? Or are we like, no panic, we're still got 2 losses in hand, we're just approaching it like a normal end of the year tournament?
Good question. Skip might answer this a little bit different than me, but I think we all our goal was to be in AAA, and unfortunately that didn't happen with the playing game, but the AA ball was darn good this year, and the pitching that we saw was really, really good. So I think it allowed us to focus right back up and kind of get back into that mindset of, all right, state tournament time. Doesn't matter if we're single A, double A, triple A, whatever it might be. We just played great ball. So I think we were able to wash that pretty quick. I have to throw an asterisk in there. I was not at that playing game, so I can't take any credit for that loss. But,
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think the guys on the team, I mean, it's a great group of guys, and everybody's super competitive, and I think everybody gets that same feeling when they kind of step into Alley Magnet, and it's whatever division we're in, we're there to play some ball.
Right.
I got that question a lot. Why didn't we throw Tim on Wednesday? I got that question a lot over the weekend, and I guess the response that I gave people was, we weren't trying to just make a bracket, right? We wanted to win whatever bracket we're going to be in. I wanted that to be the AAA, and I felt like if we were going to go toe-to-toe with Minoka and we were going to try and pull that 8-1 upset, we needed our best on the mound in that game. So we threw Pat De La Hunt, who has been really, really good for us. Him and Tim were college teammates at St. Cloud, and Pat's been just a really big game pitcher. He's actually thrown the championship for us each of the last 2 years. So the moment doesn't get too big for Pat, and I felt really good about that matchup and thought we could win. And but it wasn't an issue of just saving somebody, but I wanted to enter the tournament, whatever bracket it was, with Tim available for both weekends.
Well, right. It's like, depending on how each play-in goes, you might have 3 teams that should be in AAA in AA for some freak reason or whatever. So you got to position yourself for the whole weekend. I get it. I mean, because looking at your years in the past 2-3 years, that's kind of the one variable this year is that little wrinkle, and then how do you respond out of that? So I was just curious how the clubhouse vibe was. It sounded like it was pretty much business as usual. So I just wanted to get the temperature there. That's all.
No, it's a great question. It's a great perspective. And honestly, had we thrown Tim in that playoff game too, our play-in game, we might not have won that game with him on the mound. Right. I mean, Elko brought an unbelievable lineup. They had 19 guys there. They had 7 guys that play for the Express. Their normal 3, 4, 5 hitters were hitting 7, 8, 9 that night. They had Patrica available, who, by the way, just wanted to throw a bullpen and throw through a couple of innings. And Hentges was out and left, and they just mashed the ball. And Grimm, I mean, hit a massive shot off us that just kind of broke the camel's back. But that team, when they have their guys, is really, 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 really tough to beat.
Yeah, the other question I was going to say is, I mean, Tonka Bay, you got this, I mean, well, as an Eastern Division guy, now looking at some former Eastern Division guys, what do you think, or if anything, how did the opponents you faced all year this year versus maybe in years past? Did you notice anything different in how it prepped you or how you guys had to play or anything? What adjustments or anything that you noticed playing in the West versus the East? Because I know we played a couple teams from there for the first time in years, and it's just a little different, you know what I mean? So, so I just want to get you guys' thoughts on that too.
I'll go first. Yeah, I think. Well, what did we end up playing Tonka Bay 4 times this year? Was it 4?
4, yep.
Yeah, four times, and I don't know this off the top of my head, but I thought somebody mentioned that in going into the last weekend were all the West teams still alive, or even going into late Saturday, maybe? Does that sound right?
No, you got it spot on. It took till, I think, Saturday morning of the second weekend to have a West team eliminated, and it took a West team to beat them to do it. So it was a very strong tournament in all brackets for the Western Division.
I was super impressed by the pitching was incredible. I mean, it was just from the first weekend through the last part of the end of the weekend, it was just great pitching, and that's what makes it fun too, right? Is when you got really competitive at bats and really good pitching. It's that I love that part of it. So, yeah.
I mean, you think of the pitching that was in the AA this year, right? This is supposed to be kind of the JV bracket, right? But well, we saw Walzak from St. Croix Valley on Saturday, who's an incredible lefty. Again, I don't know how well known he is in the league, but he's a great pitcher. Brower's out there going for Tonka Bay. We saw Brandon Wolf from Tonka Bay. He's unbelievable. Then we see, the Metro Loons guy, Nichols, who was a high A-ball pitcher for the Phillies. Obviously for our team, we've got Tim Scott, who I feel, very biasedly is one of the best, if not the best, in the league. But I'm just up and down the bracket. It felt like there was really, really strong pitching, maybe as strong or stronger than the AAA.
Yeah, it wasn't I mean, just seeing the possibility of what could fall down into AA and but then you think, wow, but then when you back out, it's like the talent gap seems to just be getting heavier in the middle, and even on the bottom ends, like teams like the Diamonds, some of those West teams that you don't really hear about all the time, you start to hear a little more noise on them too the last year or so. The division shift was always an interesting thing to angle for me with you guys coming into this year. Knowing the regular, just well-known top of line Grill, Cliff, these guys you're going to see every year at least once or twice, right? So going over there, I was just wondering what the shift was and how it was different. But yeah, I mean, you guys show up, numbers, play defense, don't screw around on defense, run the bases, pitch the ball, and timely hitting. And it seems like you guys repeated the same cycle again for year number 3.
Yeah, and that is the formula. We didn't make a pitching change. We talked about that. 3 errors in 4 games. We talked about that. But Chris, you said show up. We had 22 guys there for the championship game. Reggie, maybe just talk a little bit about what it feels like to play with a full dugout of the guys and just how that energy kind of feels.
Yeah, I was going to definitely chime in at some point about this, whether you ask me or not. But yeah, the fun part about this team is the 50s guys show up. Guys that maybe don't play as much as they'd like, they show up, and everybody's an integral part. And it's so funny because we could have 8 or 9 pinch runners half the time that are ready to go. and everybody's willing to do it. It's just a lot of fun, and the cohesion of the team is super cool. And Josh has done a great job of putting together a fun team, and everybody that buys into what the Apple Valley A's are. It's a lot of fun too when you're out on the bases or on the infield playing defense, and you look in the dugout and you just have a stacked full dugout. That's pretty cool to see. So kudos to you, Stoley.
Well, I don't know if it's all me, but I totally agree that we certainly have a good group, and it's a fun group of guys to play with. My favorite photo every year, at least the last couple of years, has been our championship photo when we get the kids in there, and I think we had 23 guys there for the photo on that Sunday. But then when we get the kids in there, I think we had 31 kids who were there as well. Just a fun family atmosphere that just is a blast to play in front of. Would you agree?
Agree 100%. And that's a lot, that I said this before, but a lot of the guys, I'm sure it's like this across the league too, but young families, having some later night week games, it's tough for them to make it, right? So this is kind of the one where we can all finally get there, and the wives and kids and grandparents, friends, neighbors, whatever it might be, show up. And it's just, it's that weird feeling I was talking about earlier, like when it comes time for state tournament at LA Magnet, it's like, all right, we're going to have a ton of people there. We're going to have a full dugout, and hopefully we're going to play good baseball. So it's a fun time of the year.
You guys usually have as close to a South Division following as we'll get in the city part of. I mean, I remember the first time we saw you guys, I'm like, gosh, they have the whole peanut gallery here, like families, kids, and all this stuff, and we'll get those once or twice a year, maybe, but not so much. I feel like those get less and less every year, and they stay for the special weekends like playoffs or something like that. So, but it is quite a state. Like last year, I had the opportunity to come down and film some of your games, and when you're panning, and then all of a sudden you just see just yellow jerseys just in the background looking, just a dugout full. It's a really cool scene. And I mean, if you just took that still and told somebody that's 35 and older, baseball, they probably wouldn't believe you, because it's pretty badass that you guys got numbers and you guys got the talent that you have, willing to accept the roles just to be part of the culture.
And I think teams like Minoka have talked about that, in the past too, that having guys who are willing to, maybe they hit all year long, but they don't hit in the playoffs, or maybe they play defense all year long, and now they're second on the depth chart for the playoffs, but they're willing to accept that role. And these are the guys that they're finding a way to go out there and coach first base, or warm up the pitcher in between innings, or do whatever it takes to or pinch run. To contribute, and it feels good to have a group of guys that are willingly able to accept those roles and do what it takes to kind of move us forward.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you hear about disdain or button heads on different teams and outfits here and there, and you understand how it can happen so easily and why it does happen. So the fact that you've had the core group you've had for so long, managed to supplement it and still keep everybody coming back is a really, really special thing, and really tough thing to pull off, especially as you get older. And people, like we always say, this is people's free time, and they're choosing their to take their free time and do what you guys are doing. So it's a testament to your organization, as well as the three-time AA championships are. And I hope I took enough of the burden off you for this segment, because I feel really uncomfortable driving.
You definitely gave him his flowers. I mean, we don't like to do that. That's the one thing we do not do. So he's really loving this right now. We're pretty coy with him. We don't let him get too big of a head. And
I'm blushing.
He does deserve a lot of credit though for putting together all the background work, the time it takes, dealing with people's RSVPs, all the pain in the ass things. Still, he's the right man for the job. I always tell him that. So,
well, appreciate that, Reggie.
Now the floor is yours, buddy.
Yeah. No, something we do when we have a toast here right before we do the toast is we ask about 2027. Obviously, it's way too soon to really know what that holds for any one group. So much can happen in a Federal League offseason. Teams change uniforms. Players retire. What do you anticipate for your group, Reggie, in 2027?
Man,
Don't announce your free agency right now because you can't kill his vibes.
no, I I think we have a lot of guys that are still committed. Maybe a couple guys that have been on the fence, and if they're listening, maybe we'll welcome you back. But no, in all good fun. I think we got a good group of guys. That, everybody's at different various stages in their life with kids, or their kids are older now. But I think everybody that I know on this team still loves this game, still loves the culture in our dugout, and it's just going to be another year. And we're going to go and play some fun baseball, be competitive, and have some good laughs after the games. That's how I see it.
Well, we're usually pretty good in the parking lot too, so that definitely adds to that culture. Reggie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on Fed Up. One of my favorite parts of winning this thing is having one of my teammates on and getting to share their story and introduce them to the rest of the league. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. Like I mentioned before, love playing with you, and congrats, buddy. We got her done again, so we'll raise our glasses here. Toast to the champs. Cheers.
Cheers, Cheers, Chris.
I probably got myself in there as a guest more than I probably anticipated, and responded to some of the questions.
It just kind of happened, though.
Yeah.
Right?
I blame you. You do such a good job of leading these things. I feel like if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, the show's not going to miss a beat. So thank you for stepping in and doing that well. Very fun for me to have a teammate like Reggie on. He's such a great dude, such a great player. It was a very fun, special run for us. They all have been, honestly. To end your year on a winning streak is no small feat, no matter what class you're playing in. So very humbled and very honored to be once again the double.
He's solid dude, man. I enjoyed having him on for real.
Yeah, I love Reggie, and we've had Tim on, and it's fun for me because I love our guys, I love our dugout,
Yeah.
and to be able to have the platform to introduce them to more people is a special treat, and one that I don't take for granted. So
Yeah.
just a little extra motivation to get things done at the end of the day. But enough about us. It's time to introduce the AAA champions.
Oof.
The moment we've all been waiting for. The Rosemount Pipers deserve their due. Let's give it to them.
Yeah, we should probably give it to him.
Well, we are joined now by our AAA champion from the Rosemount Pipers, Mr. Ken Fry. Ken, welcome to Fed Up.
Thanks for having me.
Congrats, man, on an unbelievable run. I feel like it was this show that first, believed in you guys last year, but
Too much.
really excited to see this happen for you guys. Unbelievable squad, unbelievable great group of guys. Just talk a little bit about what it means to finally have accomplished it.
It was pretty awesome, actually, especially to beat the reigning 3-time AAA state winner, and those guys are really good guys too, and that's honestly makes it even better because they're just so deep. Their pitching is so deep. Everyone talks about their pitching, and that's part of how you can go win a AAA state tournament or any state tournament. But just a good group of guys. For our Pipers to win that tournament, it's been kind of a long time coming. We won state several times in the past, not necessarily the top league, but we won it a few times here and there. But in this league, it's just different now. It looks like we're joined by hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
So, yeah, what I was going to say is this league is just, it's different than the other leagues we played in before in the sense of how many good teams there are and how hard it is to win kind of that AAA. It's so stacked. You lose one game and you're probably done. At least for us, we don't have the pitching depth to lose a game early and come back. That's what happened the last several years. I mean, we just don't have that. So our lineup is a little bit stronger this year. Our defense is stronger this year. Our pitching is roughly the same, maybe a little stronger. We've had stronger in the past early day Pipers overall with more pitchers, but honestly, really what it was is we played really, really well at the end of the year. That's really what it is. We played really well the play-in game, and then we lost that game, but we just got hot, and the bats got hot, the defense got hot, and Cliff threw a couple gems. Everyone else pitched in, so yeah, was glad to get it done.
All right, Mark, I think you're good now. I just needed you to log back in real quick to sync up the last of our little segment here, but don't need you for anything else. I think we're set now. Appreciate you. Thank you much.
Hey, see ya.
Pop in with Mark Worms as a feature segment. Just random. He just pops into random conversations. And just,
That's
"Hey, guys."
awesome.
You kept your momentum going well there, Ken. I got to respond to that. I think I got a placeholder. You talk about your core, you talk about your pitching, you talk about, some of the success you've had in the past, but talk a little bit about the pieces that you've added in the last 2 years that have kind of been the little bit of a catalyst that put you over the top.
Well, there's one guy that comes to mind right away, and Rick Tossi. I'm telling you right now, and there's other guys on our team this year that might even have better offensive stats in this category or that. I don't give a crap. That dude mashes against any good pitcher, any bad pitcher. The thing is some guys have more trouble against the pitchers that are a little bit older or slower or thumbers. It just doesn't matter. He just he's only 3 years younger than me. I'm 51. He turns 48 here soon, not to out his age, but he just hits like he's 35. And he's a really good guy. He tweaked his quad, as did I, but he tweaked his quad earlier in the state or just before the state tournament, so he was only on offense, but he's been a huge help. Aaron Kackman came in, helped pitch, and ate a lot of innings and did a good job. He did a good job at state there at the end. And really, who else did we pick up? I'm trying to think. Hansen, we picked up Hansen. Well, then again, I'm not sure what year we're talking. In the last couple years, we picked up Hansen, we picked up Borens, we picked up, Tossi, Kackman to pitch. Derek Jacobson came over with Tossi. Huge age difference. He's 34 or 35, turning 35 this calendar year.
Okay, let's be clear about that now.
No. But he came on. We actually brought him on just to kind of pitch. He played baseball at St. Thomas as an infielder, but we were so full. We had so many guys already that we've always said we can't pick up too many guys, because then you start having too many guys getting ticked off, or and that's the one thing we've never had, is guys ticked off, and we try to keep it that way. So we actually turned down a couple guys this year. So when he came about, he said he could pitch. We definitely needed pitching, so he came on with the understanding that he'd probably mostly pitch, but he'd get some at bats. He ended up raking at the end. We had him in the lineup in the state championship game. We had to. It's like, this kid's on fire, and he's a young kid. He's versatile. He can play short when we moved back to the outfield, and he did a good job pitching. So there's other we picked up a lot of guys in the last 5 years, but in the last couple of years, those are the ones that come to mind, especially Tossi. Holy smokes. The guy can just hit a 420-foot bomb the Apple Field in the first weekend. So it's crazy.
And that was kind of the piece I had in mind when I asked the question. Is you're absolutely right. He's absolutely a pure swinger. He just power to both gaps. I think he hit 3 off the wall against us, against 2 different pitchers. He's just left field, right field, just absolute lasers everywhere he drove the ball. But you mentioned guys like Kackman. It was fun to see how well executed your game plan was in the championship, was starting with Belial, hoping to, I think, maybe get Minoka out on their front foot a little bit. Kackman came in and nibbled well on the corners. And then you end with 22, what's his name? Mitch Peterson, who is a sneaky gasser. He's got great velo, and
he just turned 50. He just turned 50, and 2 years ago he clocked him against St. Anthony. He was still throwing 85 with a good curveball when it's working, and Now I don't want to bring up, the game against you guys. That he told me that was his worst game since 1994. So when he came in to pitch against you guys in the infamous 9-run
Well,
bottom of the 7th inning, but
to be fair, it was short order for him, and he was getting used to a mountain where you throw uphill. There were a lot of factors that went into that. So, Mitch,
yeah.
don't beat yourself up over that.
No. But Mitch played, I think it's Central Missouri State. He was a closer than a starter his senior year. I mean, he throws hard. He's hit spots when he's on, and he closed out the championship game, which was so awesome to see. And as far as the game plan, credit to Cliff Christopherson, because I had guys, I'm not going to say names, Rick Tossi in my ear. Rick ran his team, his amateur team that he left to come to over 35 ball. And we're all like, hey, man, it's got to be Cliff. Cliff feels really good, feels fresh. And Cliff's like, no, we're sticking to the plan, because if there's a game 2, I'm going. And I'm just like, all right, I trust you. And I'm so glad that Cliff, had the guts to just stick with his plan and stick with the plan. It was awesome, because it got more guys chipping in to win that state title game. Who knows what happens that second game if we have to play it?
And
you don't want to have to play
guys like Kackman, and like we've seen him this year, like extended, and he's solid. I'm very vastly underrated as far as your stable, and just league wide, division wide, whatever. He's freaking solid. So, and Belial is a crafty guy that knows what he's doing out there. So, I love that you guys went in with full conviction, saying these are the guys. They're going to do what we think they're going to do, and it's going to work out. And you know what? I mean, how many teams would hit the panic button, not expecting okay, we're here now, let's
Right.
You know what I mean? So that is very, very hard to stick to when you get into that moment. So that's awesome.
And you have to
plus
have
it gives those other
your way
guys their
too.
time to shine where maybe they didn't get that all that often during the regular season or whatever. So I did just want
it is great to see different guys get in there and be able to pitch in, especially in a championship game against a team like that. I mean, everybody contributed at state. I mean, we had 18 guys at state, and I can tell you, for 15 years that we've been around, I don't know that I've ever had 18 guys at a game, and all of a sudden we've got 18 guys at state, at least the second weekend, which was just awesome. It was really cool to have that happen. So.
Well, let's relive it. Let's go all the way back to a couple of Wednesdays ago. Obviously, the playoff format changed a little bit. We had the play-in round. You guys end up being the 5 seed, playing the 12 seed. The Lakeville Bulldogs found themselves all the way down, nearly sliding out of the play-in completely. But you guys match up with Lakeville in game 1. You win that game 4-1. What do you remember about it?
I remember that there would have been 3 home runs by guys in their 50s. Had they played at like Alamagnet or something. Grubner would have hit 2, and then Witt from Burnsville hit one to right center that Grubner actually, ironically, had a great jump on, went back and caught it close to the warning track, and that's a pretty deep park in those gaps. It was a good game. I mean, the umpire was fine. Good dude, nice guy. He blew a few calls both ways, so I think that was kind of like, okay, hopefully he doesn't blow in that matters that much. But I never blame umps. I think umping's the hardest thing you can do, and I always try to stay off of them. But it was a good, solid game. We ended up scoring a few more runs than them, and that could have obviously went the other way. And then we're in the AA, and and that would have been fine too. But we wanted to achieve our goal, so we had to get through that game first. So. I like how it played out, and having to play Minoka the second game, I also like how that played out, because we ended up beating them, and then they had to double dip us. So we just went on a good run, and had some luck go our way here and there on some defensive plays, and we brought the bats. So.
Well, you absolutely had to earn it through the bracket play. I mean, they say you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. You went through each of the 3 division winners, from the South, from the North, and from the West, on your way to get to the championship. Your first game against Hastings, absolutely drummed them 16-6. What do you recall about that one? Who ended up being kind of the heroes in that one?
Oh man. Well, if I'm not mistaken, Mike Borns hit a dinger that game, and then Tossi, that's the one where he hit one just left of center field, like 25 feet out. So probably it's 400 to center. hit one opposite field to kind of really catalyst it, get that game rolling. And then Mike Bournes pulled one to right. Mike Bournes, I don't remember the exact order, but Mike's kind of gave us that little edge and gave us a nice lead, if I recall. But anytime you hit 2 home runs and over 35 ball in a state tournament game, that right there fires you up. And I know pitching, it appeared that they were saving, possibly their ace. And we've talked about that so many different times over the 15 years. You get to a state tournament and you're looking at the bracket and you're looking at who you're matching up against, and do you save so and so or do you whatever? And who knows what would have happened if they're what's his name again? I'm having
Derek Pfeffer.
Pfeffer's the name that we thought would pitch. But their other pitchers are good too. They did nothing wrong. We just caught fire. We literally caught fire at the state tournament. And they were just one of the victims, and that's a very good team. That could have went the other way as well. It's just one of those games that we played good defense, we hit well, our pitching did well, and it's just how it rolled.
Yeah, I'd love to catch up with Tuckner because Pfeffer ended up catching on Sunday. Like, I think he threw 1 inning on the weekend. I'm not sure, if he had something wrong with him. I'd love to catch up with him and kind of hear a little bit more about what their thoughts were there or what the situation was. But you guys end up playing the defending champs for the first time on the Sunday game. Cliff seemed pretty motivated for that one. Saw him a few times before and after. He looked like a man on a mission.
I shouldn't dime him out, but I didn't realize this about Cliff, even though he's been on the team for a while, because this year was a little different because we're sitting in a pretty good position. We're in the AAA. We've got a lot of guys showing up, which is nice. We were confident. We were playing well. He's a nervous Nelly, man. I mean, I did not realize how I shouldn't dime him out, but like the whole day he's like, I don't think about baseball the whole day. And then he gets there and he's taking long walks and all this stuff. And, whatever you got to do to prepare yourself. And if that means don't think about it, then that's actually probably a good idea. But man, when the first pitch is thrown, he is an absolute gamer. And not only did he pitch lights out for us at state there, but he hit the crap out of the ball all year. I think he led our team in hitting. I haven't checked in a while, but I'm pretty sure he carried the highest average, I think, for those that have a ton of at-bats. He just ripped the ball this year. So Cliff's in his prime. That's all I got to say. And he's got a little bit of a rubber arm. Like, he's willing to go the next day if need be. Obviously, you got to be careful with that. But, he's not one of those guys that if he pitches 4, 5, 6 innings or a full game, like he's hosed for 5 days. That's not it. So that's nice to have that as well. But
it's been a real treat to get to know him and now serving with him on the board as I think he's doing a great job as commissioner as well. I think he's brought a lot of fresh ideas and energy to the league, but to see what he did all season long and then doubling down in the postseason was super impressive. I mean, he looked like a guy who was just, like I said, on a mission to win it all, and he executed every step of the way. It was crazy to watch.
He was in a zone, not just from the pitching standpoint and trying to help run the tournament because he's the commissioner and all that stuff, but even decision making in our games. I mean, if people think that that's me making all those decisions, actually, Greg Sell, I keep the team running, and I'm kind of like, I guess, the GM on the field. It's kind of a team effort, Greg and I, and now we included Cliff in that. But at state, especially pitching, Greg does a lot of the lineup stuff, and, I concur, and like we talk about it for a second, but he kind of handles a lot of that. And then pitching, though, Cliff took the lead on that and actually talked Greg and I out of a few decisions, and he was right. He was so he was dialed in with every aspect of the game, playing, hitting, pitching, and helping run the team and run the tournament and the league. So I got to give him a ton of credit. That's all the credit I'm giving him, though. I'm done giving him credit for that.
Yeah, enough about Cliff.
Yeah.
Next weekend, fast forward, you guys play the Minnetonka Saints. Saints freshly adorning the new Fed Up championship prediction curse. Cliff goes again in that one. I thought we were done with Cliff, but he was fantastic once again. Unbelievably difficult to hold that lineup to 3 runs. You guys really looked like that was your game from start to finish. What do you remember about that one?
if I recall, I think it was kind of a slow start. I don't recall. They would have been the home team, of course. I think they scored. Yeah, they let out the game with a home run. I'm like, oh crap. That guy's a beast. I don't remember his name, but their leadoff hitter is a big lefty. He jacks a home run. And in these games, sometimes one run, 2 runs might be it. Like honestly, with 2 good pitchers and good defense and stuff. So we chipped away, and then we took a lead somewhere mid game, and then again we caught fire a little bit. And our defense has been so good. And I don't remember the exact plays, but I'm guessing there were some plays on defense that were crucial. Every single game, it felt like, our left fielder would dive for a ball that he came up with, or Mac in center field is ridiculous.
Yeah,
He's tracking
he
balls
is.
that half the league is not tracking. So yeah, our defense really came to play, and then our sticks were pretty deep this season, especially at state because we had everyone there. Mark Hansen just had a baby a week before, so he wasn't there for a couple of the games at state, but he showed up for the second weekend, and he's a stud. So we had him there too. So now we're fully stacked. We weren't missing anybody. So, and we played well. Like I said, I mean, it could have went either way on any of those games, but we just kind of caught fire and didn't talk too much about it. We'd play the game, we'd go drink some beer, and we weren't really talking much about the game, to be honest with you. We just kind of had fun and we didn't overthink anything. We just played, had fun, had some beers, came back the next day, played, had fun, won, drank some beers. I mean, that's just kind of how it went.
Well, it sounds like maybe the real hero of the weekend then was Fritz with bringing the tap wagon and keeping everyone chill and in the right mindset.
That guy is the true MVP. He's honestly kind of the face of the league, I feel like, when we're playing against other teams and he can bring that beer wagon into our state tournament or whatever. But, anyone listening or watching, I mean, he's growing. He just opened up 3 more restaurants. Original Fried Chicken, I think is what it's called. That beer wagon for grad parties, we used it for my daughter's grad party, weddings, whatever. He's a super generous, good guy. He's fair, and he'll do anything for anyone. I mean, so I can't say enough about, Fritz. He's just one of those guys. He's so happy to have him on the team.
Yeah, I'll echo everything you're saying. I mean, we're doing our end of the year party at the Tap Society. So, I mean, that's a perfect setting. They're closed on Monday, so we get the place to ourselves. She brings in staff to just to serve us that night.
Yeah.
Of course, we tip well and buy the food. But he's just, like you said, unbelievably generous. His space is unbelievably cool. As most people learned last week, they're opening up the Tap Burger at US Bank Stadium. So just an entrepreneur through and through. And I like to say all the time, good things happen to good people, and
Right.
Fritz is good people and good things are happening for him. And I couldn't be happier for him.
And actually, how about the food at that place?
So good. It's unbelievable.
It's very, very good. So I'd recommend anyone trying it out. If you're in South Minneapolis, just stop by for a burger.
I mean, you seem like you know what you're doing with burgers, and you seem like you know what you're doing with burgers. So going there, did you expect anything? I don't know if you had high expectations, but the first time I'm like, I haven't heard anybody barking about this one. This is better than most of the burgers
really
that you
good.
hear about around the fucking
Right.
metro. So good. He's got a good little operation going, and the Tap Society there right by. I mean, we just went by it when we were at Harriet the other day, and it's just a perfect spot. Check it out. Can't tell people enough. Families.
Well, I don't know that industry, but I have to imagine if you're in the Twin Stadium, Target Field, like for several years in a row, you're not going to be crappy. I mean, you know what I mean? As a restaurant, not like the stands on the corner selling hot dogs, but like the food. It's solid.
They've discovered something that works for them. Well, what worked for you? Bringing the bracket home. It's interesting, Claude. We incorporated the AI component into a lot of the stats and percentages of predictions in our episode last week, and they actually had Minoka as the favorite still when they were in the AA bracket. So I mean, I'm sorry, when they were in the losers bracket of that AAA. So just insane that AI can even recognize just what a dangerous out that they are, that even when facing the uphill climb of coming all the way back through the losers bracket, that you cannot sleep on this team one iota. Sure enough, they make it back to the championship. You guys have the tall task of beating them one more time to take home the trophy, and you get it done in an unbelievably well played game. What are some of your highlights from that one?
Well, I pulled my quad running down the first on an infield. I hit one to third base. I don't know what happened. He didn't handle it or he bobbled it a little bit. So I like, oh shit, I might beat this out. Pulled my quad. I was probably out. And the reason I say that is because of how pissed they were. Now I came back and tossing those guys were like, oh, that was bang bang. It was close, but they shouldn't be that mad. But you might have been out, but I was probably out. I assume the difference is, and what happened is that happened, right? So I get on, they're ticked off. And then I think it was the next batter. I don't remember how Walker got on, but I'm pretty sure AMAC hit a laser to left field and it got by the left field that we score up 3. By the way, I would have been the third out. So I am convinced they would have beat us that game if the ump made the call of an out there. And again, I'm not giving myself credit. I was slow as shit. I pulled my quad and I could barely get down there, but I got lucky as hell. My point is you have to have a little bit of luck to beat a team like that, especially twice. In the first game, what people don't realize, that first game we played them is we had AMAC, Grubner, and Hansen gone. 3 of our top 6 hitters gone that game. Scott Manwarn's in left field, who's fantastic. He's 53. He's 2 years older than me, playing left field instead of one of our young guys. And they hit a ball. He came up and made a diving catch that if that gets by him, we lose that game the first weekend, in my opinion. He made a game-saving type catch the first weekend. My point is that luck a little bit. I mean, phenomenal play defensively. No taking credit away. But if that ball's 6 inches shorter, and he's diving for it, that's probably getting by him. We probably lose to Minoka the first weekend. So we had to have a little bit of luck here and there, a lucky one on my grounder there, and then we pulled away, because if they beat us that first game, I'm not convinced. I'm confident we had a very good shot to beat the second game because we were a little more fresh and Cliff was ready to roll, but you just don't want to even go there because that team is too good. So we had some good, not lucky plays, but really good plays to kind of bail us out throughout the state tournament, that anything could have happened going the other way. So again, I always say, you gotta play well, you got to get dialed in, you got to have good defense, hitting, pitching, but also a little bit of balls go your way. Like there's teams that hit the ball really hard, sometimes right at us. If that's 10 feet over, you might lose the game. So that's why the game of baseball is so freaking fun, and why you go compete at that high level at state like that, and to win against teams like the ones we beat is just so fun. But again, you got to have a little bit go your way in this game.
And I mean, your points here just exaggerate just how difficult it was for Minoka to do what they did and winning back to back at the highest bracket. I mean, because you're playing really good teams, and that ball bounces a funny way. I mean, something hits the chalk where it's an inch
Right.
the other way, and it's a foul ball, and it totally changes the outcome. I think back to that playoff game at Yankee Stadium where Maurer hit that fair ball they called foul, and it just completely changed the whole entire series. Like you can't
100%.
you can't control everything, and to win it 3 years in a row like they did, unbelievable accomplishment. But for you guys to hang 2 on them in this tournament, I mean, that there's an element of skill that was definitely driving those results.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a deep lineup, and that's what I love about this over 35 ball, though. I mean, any team can beat anyone at any given time. Are there teams that are typically not going to beat certain teams? Sure, but it's certainly not impossible. And we weren't even we weren't even the leader. We beat East Mammoth twice. And we still didn't win it. So that's what's so fun about this league, is that anyone can beat anyone, especially the top half of the teams, and it just makes it so fun. And then you just got to get hot at the right time to win state. That's what I believe. And I think Minoka, I'm not even going to say that they're still not the best team in the league. Just as deep as they are with the pitching they have. I know we just won AAA state, but maybe my guys would be ticked off. I guess we are right now, kind of. I mean, we certainly deserved it because we played well. and did what we had to do to win. It was all fair and square, nothing goofy. But with their pitching, especially, and their staff, they're so good. We're happy to have beat them twice. So
Yeah. Well, to cap your season off in that way, certainly a pinnacle for you guys. But yeah, thinking back, I mean, you mentioned it. You beat the Mammoth twice. You beat Minnetonka Saints. You beat the Hastings Hurricanes. You beat the Grays twice. I mean, you
Beat the
guys
South
saw.
Metro Saints
Yeah,
once.
That's right. That's right.
hey, we had an 8-0 lead going into the bottom of the 7th and lost 9-8. Wasn't it something like that?
We're gonna be talking about this at bars.
That's
40
baseball,
years
though.
from now.
Yeah.
That's baseball. That's what's so fun about it. Not that game was not fun, but like, it's just
But
the
you gotta
fact that
admit,
that can happen
sitting
is
in the
fun.
parking lot afterwards, decompressing, you could tell it wasn't the most chipper Piper's parking lot I've ever seen. But you gotta admit, when like we come sit over there and just what the hell just happened?
Well, if we
like,
weren't very chipper, you can understand that pretty much put us out of winning and having to play the play-in game. Now,
Yeah.
again, we still could have maybe done it. We needed East Metro to dump another game. We had to beat them again, but like it was going to be a super hard. We needed to win that game, and then we're sitting, at least in fair shape. And that's all right. I'm glad it played out like it did. I'm glad we had to play a play-in game. It's like whatever. I mean, it worked out great. But yeah, I mean that game meant a ton to us. I mean, so yeah, that was a tough pill to swallow. Normally we get over losses in about 20 minutes after one or two of Fritz's beers, and that one took a little longer. But
well, you're gonna have a
nonetheless.
hard time getting over it when we hang a banner saying we made you play 5 extra games in the playoffs, and you're like, look for that at McGuire next year. We made you play more games.
Yeah,
It's all about the moral wins, right?
We'll take the wins where we can get them right now. Holy don't even. All right, yeah. Congrats, man.
Yeah, Ken. Honestly, congratulations. I mean, so well deserved, so well earned. You guys have a really impressive group from top to bottom. I feel like Chris and I saw that, like I mentioned, a year ago, the writing on the wall. We just happened to miss by about a year, but congratulations again. Thank you so much for joining us, and just so glad to have you on and hear your baseball story, and congrats to you and your guys.
Thanks for having me, and I appreciate the congrats. And I just thought of something. We didn't have very many losses, but both of you guys beat us. So congrats on that too. I mean, you guys both have fantastic squads too. But no, in all sincerity, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. The Pipers appreciate it. And we're so happy to be in this league. It's such a good league. And we love what you're doing with this podcast too. So
well,
appreciate
the champs.
All
Cheers.
Right. Cheers, fellas. Have a good winter.
Congrats, Ken. You too. Such a unique year to have 4 different champions from 4 different divisions who went 4-0. Ultimately capped off by the last game of the weekend, the Pipers over the 3-time defending Grays. For those of you that were there, you were not disappointed. It was well played. It was full of great individual moments. Ultimately won by, I think, who many would agree was just the best team of the month. The Rosemount Pipers, maybe the year, but unbelievably talented group and very well deserving.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they've been in the mix for years now, ever since they moved over here. Honestly, when you hear a guy like Logan Pickney is going to miss the year when you're heading into spring, and you think about what he means has meant to that lineup, and traditionally, you're like, man, how are they going to figure this out? Well, they've figured it out. They've plugged their holes in, and now they have no holes left, and they got a guy coming back who's, if you know Logan or if you've been around him, he's about it. So I can't, unless they rest on their laurels and get fat happy, I don't see it being a thing where they fall off. I think it's going to be a competitive thing for them next year. And I mean, by the trends, it looks like there might be more teams involved that have a say in what goes on next year. So it'll be awesome to kind of track what the movement looks like and where the noise is coming from over the summer, or the winter rather. Oh my gosh, winter. And it'll be interesting, but fun nonetheless. I mean, Rosemount, Minoka, all these guys. Who knows what happens from here? But that's the fun part. It'll give us something to look forward to and kill time through the miserable -20, -50 wind chill days in February. So.
Well, to your point, the league is deeper than it's ever been. There are more teams who legit have a chance at the top prize. The playoff format, I think, was a big success. I was super excited to see the champion come out of the play-in games, meaning that it was more difficult for them, but not insurmountable, right? So I think from a lot of aspects, it was a very successful year for the commissioner. And it was just a cherry on top to have his own team be the one to lift the top prize at the end of the year.
No, absolutely. All just the end of the year back and forth about, okay, we need to change this about this format or this year. It seems like it worked the way it's supposed to, right? And so I feel like we're going to stick with this. I mean, this seems like a nice landing spot, at least for a couple of years, to see how it goes. However, I know nothing's off the table in the wintertime, especially like when you get into January and you've been in your basement for 4 months just stewing about. You know how awesome? I'm just saying, this is a total hypothetical. If you were to take AA and AAA, single limb, or just go single limb, anyone can beat anybody. It would change so much. It would be interesting. That's not going to happen because it's too dialed down to, you got to have all you guys there that one time or your whole season's screwed. I get it. But I'm more speaking to the parity and the anyone can beat anyone. That group of teams that anyone can beat anyone has gotten a lot bigger over the past 2 years, particularly, I feel like. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next year. It seems like we always hear about a couple new guys no one's heard about, and there's people on the free agent wire that are free or just cherry picking the free agents where half the managers don't know it's there. It's like all kinds of things can happen in the winter, and so I'm looking forward to it. But for now, Rosemount, enjoy your time in the shine. Ken, you can maybe smile for once in your life. It'll be great. Enjoy it for 5 seconds at a time. It'll be great. Just relax, man. Enjoy it.
And enjoy it. I'm sure they will. To your point, yeah, a lot can happen, both from a rules perspective, a free agent perspective. That will certainly have an impact on next year, but we're not there yet. We've got more Fed Up coming to you over the coming weeks. We feel like we owe a little bit in terms of a debt and when it comes to episodes. So even though the baseball's done, of course we still got the hickory, but even though the baseball's largely done, we're going to keep churning out some content for you. And I think it's going to be content that is pertinent to the league. It's not going to have, any scores or results or games of note, but we are going to have on next week, we are going to have Twins reliever Matt Guerrero. We'll also be joined by the general manager of the Twins fantasy camp, Brian Jamros. He's also general manager of the Sioux Falls Canaries. So excited to just talk a little bit about the Twins fantasy camp, some more opportunity to play baseball in the wintertime down at Fort Myers. So excited to just have those guys on to talk about the camp and highlight some more opportunity there and make some people a little bit more knowledgeable about some additional opportunities to play baseball. Following that episode, we're going to have a memorable one with some staples from the Elko Chuggers, Chase Henkes and Jake Patrica. So looking forward to having them on as well. 2 more episodes to follow after that. We are going to have former Pro Bowl receiver, Minnesota Viking Adam Thielen on. We're going to catch up with him. He's now a prominent youth coach in the Woodbury community. Want to talk to him a little bit about his transition from the NFL to coaching and bring you some insights. I know we have a lot of coaches in this league, so that's going to be one that you're going to want to tune in for. And then we're going to wrap it up with our way too early look at 2027. So we're going to talk potentially about some rule changes. Maybe we'll have Cliff back on. Just some an opportunity for the league to kind of weigh in on how we can make this thing even better, despite the fact that I think it was a really successful 2026 campaign. But lots more fed up to come. Excited to bring that to you. Chris and I are both really enjoying having the time to be able to bring you this content. So let's keep it rolling. We might even do a little spot out at the Hickory. I don't know, a little live. I know the A's and the Saints play out there, so might be an opportunity to bring some more content to you live from the Hickory. I'm just dropping that on Chris now, so if he looks stunned or overwhelmed, that would explain that. But lots more from us coming, so please tune in. Appreciate all the comments and the compliments that I know I received over at Alley Magnet. I'm sure you got a few your way as well out at your site, but really humbling to know that guys are tuning in and enjoying what we're doing. So we want to keep you fed, right? So couple more episodes left from us before we sign off from the year. So make sure to set your notifications and keep an eye out for those. Until then, congrats to our champions. Thank you for listening. Stay healthy and stay fed.
Dice. This is it. High fly ball. She is gone.